including medical equipment. There were gun battles on the Rafah border crossing between Egypt and Gaza on Wednesday as the convoy was trying to cross. An Egyptian soldier died and 20 people were injured after the fighting broke out between Hamas, who control the Gaza Strip, and Egyptian troops. We can cross to Ayman Mohyeldin now, who's at the Palestinian Legislative Council in Gaza. Ayman, what's the atmosphere like there, given that the convoy is there and they're doing what they came to Gaza to do?
Well, Imran, throughout the course of the morning, we've been speaking to many of the participants, ordinary activists really from around the world, some very heartwarming stories, not just because of the message that they are bringing, but many of the activists themselves have some very personal and touching stories about why they wanted to come to Gaza. We met the youngest member of that convoy, a 16-year-old American girl who was of Palestinian descent. She had never been to Palestinian territory, so she came to Gaza as part of this convoy, and she was very overwhelmed and moved by the emotions that she saw. But at the same time, there is a lot of symbolism in some of the officials that are here, and one of the events that is being organized for them in front of much of the media and in front of a lot of the Palestinian public is taking place behind me, and it is at the Palestinian Legislative Council, which is the seat of Palestinian democracy here. And I'm just going to step out of the way. Behind me, the delegates from the Viva Palestina convoy are gathering here. They're going to be meeting members of the Palestinian parliament. Obviously, back in 2006, Hamas won free and fair elections. They came into power, and since then, really, it has triggered a wave of events that has put Gaza and Hamas in isolation. So the arrival of this convoy, the meeting of these officials and the activists is very significant symbolically because it's trying to send the message that Hamas and the Palestinian democratic process, at least as it unfolded in Gaza, should not be isolated, should not be put under siege. And that is what the message of both the activists as well as the Palestinian parliamentarians that are behind me trying to address today.
Now, they're only going to be allowed to do what they do in Gaza for 48 hours. So presumably it's another very busy 24 hours ahead for all of them.
Indeed, in fact, there was actually some kind of speculation as to when the actual 48 hours began. They arrived yesterday evening, they arrived Wednesday evening very late, and by some accounts they will have to be leaving as early as tomorrow morning, perhaps as late as after Friday afternoon prayers. So it may not be a complete 48 hours. The significance of the trip is really all being packed in today on Thursday. Earlier in the day, as we were reporting, they delivered the trucks and vehicles and supplies they brought with them to the deposed government here for that to be distributed at a later time throughout the course of the next several weeks and perhaps even months. They are going to visit with some Palestinian families in areas that have been destroyed as a result of Israel's war on Gaza. And behind me, there's going to be this public protest with the Palestinian parliamentarians. We do also expect them at some point to meet with the Palestinian Prime Minister, the deposed Palestinian Prime Minister Ismail Haniyeh and his cabinet, though that remains at this point somewhat uncertain, but that is on the tentative schedule for them. So most of their activity is going to be focused today. Tomorrow they are expected to leave Gaza before at least the Egyptians change the course of their itinerary and force them to stay perhaps even longer.
Ayman, thanks for updating us. Ayman Mohyeldin live from Gaza.